Hello viewers, I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India's foreign engagements are steadily strengthening its global standing. The recent visit by US Vice President J.D. Vance underscores the growing India-US partnership, with finalized trade terms amidst economic concerns, highlighting a shared commitment to mutual growth. Similarly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Saudi Arabia showcased the deepening ties between the two nations with strong business and cultural exchanges. Take a look.
India-US relations have evolved significantly over the years, transitioning from a partnership based on shared values to a comprehensive strategic alliance. This evolution was further underscored by the recent official visit of US Vice President J.D. Vance to India, accompanied by Second Lady Mrs. Usha Vance, their children, and senior members of the US administration. During his visit, Vance announced the finalization of terms for a trade deal between the US and India, marking a significant step forward in bilateral relations. This deal comes amidst concerns over the potential impact of reciprocal tariffs, underscoring the shared commitment to mutual economic growth. The visit also provided a platform for both sides to review progress on previous agreements and discuss regional and global developments of mutual interest.
As many of you are aware, both of our governments are hard at work on a trade agreement built on shared priorities, like creating new jobs, building durable supply chains, and achieving prosperity for our workers. In our meeting yesterday, Prime Minister Modi and I made very good progress on all of those points. And we were especially excited to formally announce that America and India have officially finalized the terms of reference for the trade negotiation. I think this is a vital step.
The finalization of these trade terms marks a significant milestone in the ever-deepening relationship between India and the US. As both sides work toward a final agreement, key officials from both countries are actively engaging in talks to ensure the deal's success.
J.D. Vance's presence here right in the beginning of the Trump administration, the second Trump administration, I think holds its own significance. And I'm sure the balance of trade in the larger terms will also be sorted out. You know that our top negotiator, the next Commerce Secretary of India, would shortly be traveling to United States. And you had their top trade negotiator, Brandon Lynch, coming here.
Continuing on the theme of India's growing global partnerships, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to Saudi Arabia highlights another significant milestone in the country's diplomatic engagements. During his visit, he held high-level talks with Saudi leadership, co-chaired the Second Strategic Partnership Council, and emphasized bilateral cooperation across vital sectors. This meeting built upon the outcomes of the inaugural session, reviewed progress in key areas, and set ambitious goals for the future. A key pillar of this evolving relationship is the growing business-to-business engagement between India and Saudi companies, particularly in emerging sectors like infrastructure, pharmaceuticals, and technology.
Already we are in ties with many companies in India, working together in many sectors, construction, infrastructure, pharmaceutical. So there should be always there is a gap, or always there is a development to be adding value, to see the latest technologies, see what's out there, and vice versa. India's reputation in technology is very well and solid, so people like to collaborate and have a knowledge transfer of many Indian calibers and business professionals. So we have many projects, as everybody knows, happening in the kingdom, and they're all gonna be latest, smart, technological, and up-to-date technology.
The visit also touched upon the rising soft power linkages between the two nations. One symbolic example is the growing global appeal of yoga, a cultural bridge championed by India and supported enthusiastically in Saudi Arabia.
The recognition of the International Yoga Day actually was a result of the efforts of the Honorable Prime Minister, and we all in yoga field thank him for that, because the Yoga Day is not just a celebration for one day. New people come to know more about yoga. Yogis are excited to celebrate this day. Even in ministries of sports around the globe, national Olympic committees, federations, all these entities, yoga centers, yogshalas, all types of yoga, yogasana, yoga therapy, traditional yoga, practitioners of spiritual yoga, everybody celebrates yoga. So it's a big global phenomena happens.
Just as diplomatic engagements were progressing, news of a deadly terror attack in Kashmir prompted Prime Minister Modi to cut short his visit. Even as the visit was curtailed, the message from Riyadh was clear. India and Saudi Arabia are entering a new chapter of strategic partnership, one built on mutual respect, shared security goals, and a vision for global leadership in innovation and culture.
The brutal terror attack in Kashmir's Pahalgam has sent shockwaves across India and the world, with 26 innocent lives lost in this targeted assault on tourists. In response, India has taken a strong and decisive step, suspending the Indus Waters Treaty, closing the Attari-Wagah border and cancelling visas for Pakistani nationals. Meanwhile, the global community, including leaders from the US, Russia and the UK, has strongly condemned the attack. A report.
In a decisive and strong retaliatory move following the brutal attack in Kashmir's Pahalgam, India has unveiled a series of sweeping diplomatic and security measures aimed squarely at Pakistan. The government has suspended the Indus Water Treaty, ordered the immediate closure of the Attari-Wagah border, and cancelled all the SAARC visa exemption scheme visas issued to Pakistani nationals.
Recognizing the seriousness of this terrorist attack, the CCS decided upon the following measures. 1. The Indus Waters Treaty of 1960 will be held in abeyance with immediate effect until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism. 2. The integrated checkpost Attari will be closed with immediate effect. 3. Pakistani nationals will not be permitted to travel to India under the SAARC visa exemption scheme visas. 4. The defense, military, naval and air advisors in the Pakistani High Commission in New Delhi are declared persona non grata. 5. The overall strength of the High Commissions will be brought down to 30 from the present 55 through further reductions to be effected by 1st May 2025.
The Pahalgam attack, which targeted innocent tourists and claimed 26 lives, has sparked a global wave of condemnation. World leaders including US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer expressed their condolences and pledged unwavering support to India in its fight against terrorism. US Vice President J.D. Vance, who was on a 4-day visit to India during the brutal attack, also expressed his sorrow and solidarity.
We've had a very successful visit. I want to just, of course, issue our condolences to the people of Kashmir who were affected by this terrible terrorist attack. The President's already spoken with Prime Minister Modi. I believe I'll be speaking with him later this afternoon. And obviously we're providing whatever assistance and help we can provide to the government, to the people of India.
The voices of outrage are also growing louder from the diaspora of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where exiled activists now living abroad have condemned the Pahalgam attack in the strongest possible terms.
The attack that took place in Pahalgam is not only tragic, but it is a direct threat to the sovereignty of India. We, the people of POJK, strongly condemn this act of terrorism, and we blame the Pakistan army and accuse General Asim Munir for this act of terrorism. The TRF, everyone knows, is a front organization of Lashkar-e-Taiba, and Lashkar-e-Taiba is the brainchild of Pakistan Army and ISI. Only a few days ago, General Asim Munir was threatening genocide of the Hindus when he said that we are two different nations, we have different destinies, we cannot live together, while forgetting that there are 250,000 Hindus living in Pakistan. And then this attack takes place. I personally believe that that speech was actually a green signal for this operation. He was asking them to go ahead.
POJK activists are demanding that Pakistan take responsibility for its role in orchestrating and supporting such acts of violence, further escalating tensions in the region.
This is very unfortunate that Pakistan still using terrorism, extremism, fundamentalism as its foreign policy tool and exporting terrorism into the region. We have been constantly demanding from international community and all those organizations who are actually working as a watchdog on all these issues, including Financial Action Task Force and United Nations Security Council, where Pakistan sits as a non-permanent member since 1st of February 2025.
As international pressure mounts and India doubles down on its diplomatic offensive, the message is clear. Pakistan can no longer shield terror proxies without facing the full weight of global scrutiny and strategic retaliation.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
South Korean prosecutors have indicted former President Moon Jae-in for alleged bribery in a case related to the appointment of his former son-in-law at a Thai airline. Moon was indicted for bribery, while former lawmaker Lee Sang-jik was indicted for bribery and breach of trust, Jeonju District Prosecutor's Office said in a statement. The death of Pope Francis on April 21, 2025 at the age of 88 following a cerebral stroke has elicited an outpouring of grief and tributes from leaders and communities across Asia. His passing has been widely mourned, reflecting his profound impact on global peace, interfaith dialogue, and social justice. International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said that for China to shift its economy toward higher growth, it will need to end a property crisis, add social safety net protections, boost its services sector, and let private sector companies reach their full potential. Georgieva also told a news conference that she was concerned about the ASEAN region because this grouping of relatively open Southeast Asian economies were highly exposed to US tariffs and trade tensions and should work to boost regional trade links.
Following the Pahalgam attack, a recent video of POJK's puppet Prime Minister Chaudhry Anwar-ul-Haq has gone viral, in which he is seen openly supporting terrorism and glorifying violence. This video once again exposes Pakistan's involvement in cross-border terrorism and highlights how deeply entrenched their support for such acts remains.
A viral video featuring the so-called Prime Minister of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Chaudhry Anwar-ul-Haq, has exposed Islamabad's direct role in cross-border terrorism. In the video, Haq not only justifies attacks in India, but also celebrates them as payback. This open endorsement of violence highlights Pakistan's ongoing support for terrorism and its role in spreading instability in the region. removing any doubt about its involvement in cross-border violence.
तुम बलूचिस्तान में पाकिस्तानियों के खून से होली खेलोगे, इसकी कीमत तुम्हें दिल्ली से लेकर मकबूजा कश्मीर के अंदर तक अदा करनी पड़ेगी। Absolutely correct. और जो हिस्सा इसमें कश्मीरी मुजाहिदीन का है, इंशाअल्लाह ताला वो पहले भी अदा करते रहे और आप पूरी कुव्वत और पूरी जुर्रत से अदा करेंगे। तुमसे जो होता है कर लो।
Pakistan's top leadership no longer has the courage to speak directly. Instead, they hide behind their tin pot puppets. These mouthpieces in POJK are being used to launder the language of terrorism into political rhetoric, pushing Islamabad's violent agenda while pretending to keep their hands clean. By taking pride in the involvement of so-called Kashmiri Mujahideen, Haq has confirmed what India and the world have long maintained, that terrorism remains a state-backed instrument of Pakistan's regional policy, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore. This view is echoed by US security experts who have condemned Pakistan for its continued support of cross-border terrorism, further intensifying the growing international scrutiny of the country's actions.
Only reaction that the United States should take is a formal designation of Pakistan as a state sponsor of terror and a designation of Asif Munir as a terrorist. The only difference between Osama bin Laden and Asif Munir is Osama bin Laden lived in a cave and Asif Munir lives in a palace. But beyond that, the two are the same, and their end should also be the same.
Anwar ul Haq's statement isn't just the opinion of one individual. It's a reflection of a larger system that enables and amplifies such dangerous rhetoric. His words represent a mindset and policy deeply embedded within the Pakistani establishment. Terrorism remains deeply entrenched in Pakistan's regional playbook, and the world must now decide how long will it continue to look the other way.
Tens of thousands of Afghan refugees are being forced to return to a homeland many have never seen. Following Pakistan's nationwide crackdown on undocumented Afghans, families are packing up decades of life in exile and heading back across the border. For most, it's a painful transition filled with uncertainty. Take a look.
Many Afghan refugees are returning to a homeland that is complete unknown to them, as neighboring Pakistan launched a large-scale crackdown on undocumented Afghan nationals. Islamabad has warned all Afghan nationals who have no legal documents to stay or those holding Afghan citizen cards to return home or face deportation. For many of these refugees, this means uprooting them from the only homes they have ever known.
दिल नहीं लग रहा था आने का भी, लेकिन फिर भी बहुत मजबूरी थी। भाई ने समझाया कि चलो तो यहाँ पे जाके नेशनलिटी लोग उधर की भी नहीं होगी तो इधर की भी नहीं होगी, फ़ायदा कुछ नहीं, अपना मुल्क है जाएं। तो फिर बड़ी कोशिश, दिल से नहीं लग रहा था, पर फिर भी मैं जो है आ गया हूँ।
With nowhere else to go, he could only look towards Afghanistan for support, a country still reeling from economic collapse and political instability.
में भी फिर हमने तैयारी कर लिया, बस आ गए। बच्चे वगैरह पढ़ रहे थे, कुछ 5वीं में, कोई 7वीं में, कोई मैट्रिक मतलब ऐसे पढ़ रहे थे। तो अभी आ गया, चलो परेशानी के सामने तो है, लेकिन मतलब होना चाहिए तालीम वगैरह। तो हम भी यही कोशिश करेंगे कि मतलब इनकी तालीम वगैरह हो जाए, अच्छी बात है।
For many, the journey ahead is filled with uncertainty, returning to a homeland they hardly know, with hopes of rebuilding lives from scratch. As families like Mir Ali's cross the border, they carry with them not just their belongings, but a deep longing for stability, identity, and a future beyond displacement.
From exile to uncertainty, Afghan refugees face a future without answers. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.